What is going on, Gooners and Goonerettes? I actually feel like I'm living now. I'm among the world of the living after the week that I just had. Oh my God, I've been so sick, guys. I've been as sick as a dog. But I do want to cover a few things with you guys because I haven't really talked on the channel for a bit due to the way that I felt, and now I'm back. I thought I'd better give my thoughts, and there's quite a few things to cover. Firstly, questions and answers time. So first question is, guys, through the door is, what do you do with Granit Xhaka? I thought he played really well over the last few games, to be honest. Having his best season as well in that number 8 role. Is he perfect in that role? No. Is he having his best season as an Arsenal player? Yes, he has. But I think everybody can see that the benefits, the fight, and the liabilities all there. Everybody sees everything, at face value. And some fans love him. Other fans believe, look, that he's had a fantastic season. We've got the best out of him possible this season, and in his 30s now, so it is what it is. Yeah, it's time to sort of probably move on from that. Bayer Leverkusen, I'm talking about 20 million. I believe that if you sell him to Bayer Leverkusen, then you definitely have to bring in Declan Rice, Caicedo, even though they don't play in that position, but you've got to use the money and reinvest it back into the midfield where it is. Now, by all accounts, I've always thought the best thing to do is to put Smith Rowe there. Smith Rowe has always been the answer for me. 4 years now, since before he went to Huddersfield and he came out of the academy, I was talking about this guy replacing Aaron Ramsey, and it's just not happened. We still have not got that bona fide number 8 that can score 10 goals and 10 assists in one season. And believe me, Xhaka's done really well. He's done impeccable as far as his levels are concerned. But we're talking about a young player growing with a young team in the ideal role of a number 8 that will be able to facilitate all the box-to-box needs that you have. And I think in terms of players that we've seen who are being coached right now, you only have to look at Martinelli and Saka. Yeah, there's only 2 players there, Martin Odegaard. All these players are being coached by Arteta. So I think that it's time for you to kind of give Smith Rowe the keys, teach him the defensive duties that he has, and then let him thrive. Unfortunately, in Smith Rowe's corner, the injuries have to stop. You cannot build, and I've talked about this on the stream the other day, guys, you cannot build a house with straw. It will collapse. And that's the reason why last year we saw what happened with Tomiyasu, we saw what happened with Thomas Partey, saw what happened with Kieran Tierney. And as far as Tierney and Tomiyasu goes, they are unreliable. Thomas Partey's injuries got better this season, but with Kieran Tierney, a lot of people calling his name, he's just unreliable. And Smith Rowe falls into that bracket that you cannot rely on a player like that because he consistently gets injured. So while there's shouts for Kieran Tierney to replace Zinchenko, and I can hear that everywhere now, how long do you think it would be before he suffers another major injury blow? So Arteta has to take all of that into account. But it's a deal that I would do. If you're asking me to strengthen the team, sell Xhaka, and then put a bona fide number 8 in there for the future, then that's something that I would do. Let's remember, Sambi's still a number 8 player. He's out on loan at Crystal Palace. He'll be coming back in, even though I think that's going to be one of the players that they're going to be moving on. Time for us to kind of let go some of these players like Tavares. Time for us to let go some of these players and move on to players that will get in the upper echelon. Let's talk about some big names now. Let's get in the shout for Rafinha. Let's get in the shout for Caicedo, Declan Rice. Let's get in the shout for some of these big-time players now, simply because that's what it's going to take to get us over the line. If you want to win the league, if you want to win the Champions League, you're not going to do that with players who are playing decent and playing well, coming through the academy, but not going to take you to the highest level in world football. So that's the discussions we're going to have with each other. Another question, shout out to El Nene. El Nene's returned to training today, so that's really good to see, which means he'll possibly, slim, but possibly be back for the last game against Wolves. So that would be nice, guys. If you see him coming on with 5 minutes to go in front of the home crowd, I'm looking forward to us giving him a massive standing ovation. So what are the developments outside of that? Developments outside of that is that Caicedo, it's been found that he's got the same clause in his contract as McAllister and a few of the other players, where they are able and allowed to move on to teams that are playing higher levels of football. What that means in the contract is the Champions League. Now, we've seen from the likes of other players like Bellingham who wanted to go to Liverpool, and other players, even we were after a few players previously before, where their clauses in the and I think Tielemans was one of those when he wasn't running sort of his contract down. So I'm talking a couple of years now. But the players were allowed to leave teams if they were in the Champions League. And because some of these teams are not in the Champions League, they won't have a say in buying said players. So Liverpool going in for Caicedo, not going to happen. Liverpool going in for Declan Rice, not going to happen, because the clause in that contract will identify that the team has to be in the Champions League. So Caicedo has that clause in his contract now, so that's great. What will his price be? I would say around 90 to 100 million. Yeah, because he signed a new deal that then puts the powers back into Brighton's way, that gives them all the teeth that they need now to ask for a much higher fee. And that's how it's going to be. And will I be sad about paying that kind of money for the player? Maybe, but it is what it is, guys. Declan Rice, though, that would be the maximum that I got. I mean, realistically, you only want to pay around, he's only worth 80 million. But now they're talking about foolishness. And I definitely will not be paying 120 million for either player. Yeah? I don't think any of them are worth 120 million. I would not be paying 120 million or even 100 million for Declan Rice. Ain't going to happen. I'm not buying it, guys. He is not worth that amount. And people can talk about England International and all this. Yeah, Phillips was in an international. He went to Manchester City. They ain't even paying him. They're not even playing Phillips. He was part of that midfield that set a clean sheet record in the Euros alongside Declan Rice. And Calvin Phillips, he ain't even playing. I would take Calvin Phillips. I'll tell you that in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even sniff twice about not taking Calvin Phillips. Because he'll cost you half of what Declan Rice has cost you. But Declan Rice is big time, guys. Yeah, give the man his dues. He's big time. And West Ham are going to get paid. They're going to get paid. They've done well by standing by the player, and they've agreed to let him go, so fair play to them. On the flip side of that, guys, is who would you prefer, Caicedo or Declan Rice? Or do you spend 200 million and get both? That's a lot of money, but what that does is it shores up your midfield. If you sell a Granit Xhaka, that really powers up your midfield in so many ways, guys. That makes you have an elite midfield. It also, and this is important, Chelsea used to do this, probably are still doing it if we think about this in a manner of way. Man United as well. If you think about this, is it takes it away from the competition. So you buying them two players means that the competition can't have them. It means that Liverpool, Man United, Spurs, to an extent, I don't even look at Spurs as competition right now, but it means that those teams will not be able to strengthen their midfields by buying those players as well. So very important how we go about, how we maneuver around what we're going to do this summer. It's very important in how we do that, because you only have a set amount of limited funds and you can't blow it all on just one or two targets. That I definitely am not in acceptance of, and you lot know that. We talked about the James Maddison, didn't we? Remember James Maddison? Let's spend 70, 80 million on him. Instead, we took that money and bought Tomiyasu, Aaron Ramsdale, and Martin Odegaard. How did that work out for us? Well, Aaron Ramsdale's England's number one. It should be. Tomiyasu is an elite defender who's taken Mo Salah out of the game, and it's a shame we didn't have him in the second game when we played Liverpool, because you always got that option in your back pocket with Tomiyasu. And then Martin Odegaard now being talked about in the same breath as Kevin De Bruyne. Forget James Maddison. Forget him. Batter him away. He ain't even in the discussion about who's the most creative player in the Premier League. Martin Odegaard is. So when you look at those things, guys, what I'm trying to say to you is the predication on building the team in the Liverpool way, which is spending 30 million on really good talent and then bonding into a system that works. That's still key, guys. That's still the key plan. To keep on building the team with these players and there's an abundance of these £30 million players that we've got in the team. Zinchenko, Gabriel, William Saliba, we can go on and on and on. There's just an abundance of this talent that we've got, and that's how we've done it. We've done it the Liverpool way. So to go out now and start spending 80, 100 million, you got to be careful what you do. You've got to be very careful in what you do and how you spend that money. And as far as Victor Osimhen goes, that's off the table. That ain't going to happen. Napoli, they won the league. Congratulations to them. And now they're going to be looking to see how far they can go in the Champions League. Yeah, you're talking about a team now that's come from there to now in the upper echelon of Europe, and they're going to be going for the Champions League. There's no way they're going to be selling that brother there. They spent 76 million euros on him. If they're selling him, you've got to come to the table with 150, with double that amount. You've got to be coming in with 150 euros before you even have a conversation. And we saw what happened with Harry Kane. Ain't nobody going to be spending 150 million on the striker. Not in this climate. Victor Osimhen ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. So I definitely don't think that that's what's going to happen. So you with Arsenal now, you've still got your three strikers. You've got your Nketiah. You've got four actually. If you talk about Trossard, you've got Trossard, Nketiah, Martinelli, and Jesus. And then you got Balogun coming back, and Balogun want to start. Personally, at Christmas, I said it then and I'll say it again now. Sell him for 40 million. Sell him for 50 million. Just sell him if you're going to reinvest that money to go in and buy somebody else. If not, put him in the team in the summer and see what he does. If you put him in and he starts banging goals in, what are you going to say? Give him the chance at least to show you just what Nketiah did. They sent a lot of these players out on loan. You give them a chance in the team. And then look at them thrive. Yeah? Look at them thrive. So I think Balogun at least deserves that. And every player is going to talk about, yeah, I want to start. Yeah, I want to do this. Charlie Patino business. Yeah? Every young player is going to want to talk about how they want to play. But if you're going to go to a team and play at this level, that's a different question. Because that's a different question now. If you're talking about going to play for a team that's going to make you title contenders and play you in the Champions League, you're having a different conversation. And if your name's Balogun, you ain't going to no team that's going to give you that. If you're Patino, you ain't going to no team that's going to give you that. So, look, it's going to be about building a squad as well, because some parts of the squad is still a bit thin, midfield. You'd like to think you've got depth at centre-back and right-back, because you've got Tomiyasu coming back. He'll give you both. Probably would like to see another attacking winger, although we don't know what's going to happen. Reece Nelson's going to probably walk away on a free. So that's going to make you a bit lighter again, even though you just got those options back. So, yeah, there's ways to go with it, guys. But for me, a no to Victor Osimhen. A no at 120 million at Declan Rice. But I think that they'll come to an agreement some way. Go and get Caicedo. Caicedo's your number one target for me. Go and fling on 90 million, 100 million. Do whatever you have to get that deal done. Because that deal will cover you for your midfield. It opens the question to whether Thomas Partey has a replacement. It gives you actually an option with Thomas Partey. And you've got Jorginho for another season. So that's what I would do, guys. Let me know what your comments are in the comment section below. Good to speak to you guys again. I'll speak to you later, man. Peace out. Nice one back at you guys.